when you're doing the punch, the important thing to remember is to use the whole body to punch. You're not just extending the arm. Instead, it's the body that leads the punch and controls the limb into it. So that involves rotation of the body, hips, pushing off the floor, unison of the whole body. For example, the three main punches are the straight left, which is usually performed from the front hand, just simply extending the limb forwards, leading with the body, turning in, rotating the wrist, and snapping back in. The straight right is usually led from the rear hand, which involves a pivot of the rear leg and a turnover of the body, an extension of the shoulder and arm into the punch, and then back. The hook punch is a similar rotation of the body, but instead the fist, the hand, goes slightly out to the side and across. So the body's turning across the face of the target. Now that can be done from the rear hand or the front hand. Now importantly, the front hand hook is usually a counter hook because the rotation is difficult to get off the front leg to be able to effectively hook. It can be done. You can simply rotate the body, twisting outwards first, coiling, and then rotating into the target. The last punch you have is the uppercut. So that comes from below and up through the middle. So like the hook, it's a circular kind of punch. Instead, it goes up. So to do the uppercut, you simply lower the fist slightly and crouch very slightly, and then force by way of the hips the punch through the target in an upwards direction. Again, that can be done from the rear hand or the front hand. Now it's difficult to get the power on the front hand for the same reason as it is to get the front hook to hit with power. Once again, you can lean out to the side for more power to coil outside and then rotate inwards. Now with all these punches, there are variations. So you'll get some hooks that look more straight and some straights that come out to the side. The important thing to remember is that they all follow the same fundamental principles. That's leading with the waist, full use of the body, full extension of the arm, shoulder and hip. Now to get the power of the punch, you'll need to use the ground force. You'll need a stable base. This involves rooting to the floor, preferably on the side that the punch is thrown. So on an attacking punch, you'll root the weight forwards on the front leg. For a counter punch, you'll root it on the back leg, moving the head out the way in the direction of the rear leg. Now as you move your head, you generally move your head in the direction of the punch. The stabilizers of the inner ear, the proprioceptors, will set you in the position, will set the weight down below where the head is, which will increase your balance when punching. So in a sense, the punch or the kick follows the head. For more on the movement of the head, I suggest looking at the work of Steve Morris, the martial arts coach based in the UK. When you're punching, even if it's slowly, you'll want to use whole body motion. That involves the hips, the fist, keeping very tight fist, which creates tension in the arm upon impact. The feet, you can press into the floor for more power, planting those feet. However, you keep light on the feet when you're moving around, and then you set the feet by crouching very slightly at the knee to give you that rooted power. So the things to remember: a constant motion. You don't want to be in a static position from a fixed position where possible. The constant motion, the moving of the weight between the feet in the stance, that creates the opportunity for power. So you're always in motion, which creates more power. This will paradoxically actually make you less tired, because it's much more exhausting to be static. We get very tired when we're static. We need to move. In the same way, when you're fighting, you keep moving subtly, using the whole body. This will disguise your intentions, and it will recruit all the major parts of the body into the attack, making it much more powerful. None of the attacks are isolated. It's not just the arm punching, it's the feet, starting with the feet, it's the body, it's the head, and it's the other arm, which might be blocking or assisting balance.